Hello, welcome to the Pillar to Post sewer lateral inspection for 5481 Raritan Way, Denver, Colorado, 80221. Our access point for today's inspection is a 3-inch roof vent. And our inspection today begins at the tap. The tap is your 4-inch sewer line leaving the home, connecting to the city main out in the middle of the street. We are deeming your tap and sewer line functional at this time. We saw minor defects, nothing causing a major conflict in your sewer line at this time. You will notice there's all this white on the top and sides of the pipe. There's grease buildup or fog, and fog is a sewer term. It stands for fats, oils, and greases that build up in your sewer line. And that's why we do recommend that the line be cleaned before closing, just to help mitigate and extend that life of the line. And you have a cast iron and clay line, and we're in a clay section right now. We do recommend that line be cleaned every 1 to 3 years to help mitigate root and grease buildup and things like that. As you can see, but we did do simple water testing at the tap. Basically, we flushed the toilet in the home, and just to evaluate and see how everything is flowing down the sewer line, and everything does seem to be flowing properly. I saw no major conflicts there. So these clay pipes come in shorter sections, anywhere from 3, 5, or 8 foot sections. Instead of cracking or breaking, they're designed to move at the joint with expansive soils. And so if you do see roots in a clay line, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a failed line. It just means usually just a general lack of maintenance. So we will see just some minor roots and things like that in the sewer line. I'll point them to you as you come. Here's just one of those like minor offsets that's moved at the joint, just pulling a tiny bit of water, but not a conflict at this time. But we did mention that get that line cleaned every 1 to 3 years. After we have the line cleaned before closing, just to kind of get all this grease buildup and stuff like that out. When doing your due diligence and finding yourself a good cleaner, I recommend you ask them 3 different questions before you hire them. You make sure they're certified, insured, if they have a sewer camera. If they're certified, that usually means they're trained on their equipment. Hopefully they won't break anything. And then, accidents do happen. So if they do accidentally break something, they can, if they're insured, they can get that taken care of. And then if they have a sewer camera, they can put the camera on the line, inspect any problem areas. And then after, to prove that the job you pay them to do is done properly to your standards. So right here's a little offset at a joint. We are seeing some root intrusions and things like that, but not a hindrance in the functionality. And with like clay lines, we do recommend them being cleaned every 1 to 3 years. And basically, the more water you put down your sewer line, the more often it ought to be cleaned. But saw no major conflicts in the sewer line. We did find there's a minor standing body of water. And we can tell it's minor because when we flush the toilet and we're at the city tap, we are getting ample flow and proper flow down the sewer line. So basically, it's not causing a conflict where tons of debris and stuff are building in the sewer line. So we call these self-purging standing bodies of water. And a self-purge is when you fill up the bathtubs in the home, and then you drain them. And then when you're draining them, you flush all the toilets in the home at the same time. And that kind of creates a tidal wave-like effect just to push any debris, more or less just that gets stuck in these little minor standing bodies of water, or bellies, and push them all the way to the city tap. We do recommend doing that once or twice a year to help extend the life of the line and do those in between the cleanings. And all those directions on how to do those will be in the written report. So we do recommend reading the written report for simple tips and tricks, do's and don'ts on how to maintain your sewer line. But we did note, we looked in the basement and throughout the house, saw some PVC used underneath the sinks and things like that. It was a good quality plastic. And then we also saw a 2-inch cast iron clean out. I believe it was the laundry room in the basement. Those are typically more difficult. We try to go through a 3-inch clean out, as those 2-inch cast irons do tend to constrict. And here's our transition from the cast iron to the clay at the foundation of the home. And this is what we want to get cleaned. This cast iron, if left unmaintained and not regularly cleaned, it rusts and scales, basically creating and shrinking the interior diameter of the sewer line by, quarter, half, or even upwards to an inch. It's not that bad, but we do recommend just getting that line clean just to help break some of that off and reduce any channeling or like these faux-like shelves you'll see in the sewer line. So you can see kind of on the left side, it's starting to channel, and like a little shelf-like feature is starting to be made. And it just restricts the flow down the sewer line. So getting that line cleaned and just breaking that up does increase the functionality of the sewer line. But as I stated before, no major conflicts in the sewer line today. Just want to get that line cleaned. Alrighty, and we are going vertical now, so that we have completed the lateral portion of the sewer line. We're just going to go vertical now. We do have some rusting and scaling going on in here, just restricting the camera a little bit, not a big deal. Alrighty, pardon me, let me get my, when I pull out my camera, I'll show you our access point. Alright. So this is our roof vent. This is my cap. That will not be capped. We do not want these roof vents capped. There's the backyard. And there's the front. So that ends our inspection today. We just want to make sure we get that line clean before closing, just to get all that grease and scaling out of the sewer line. But I want to say thank you. Have a great day.